Hello folks, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and we are in the Python basic series for beginners. Our today's topic of discussion is exceptions. In this video, we will cover what is an exception. We will have a look at various examples of exception. Then we will see how exceptions are handled using try and except statement, and also have a look at finally keyword along with reach statement and assert statement. So let's jump in and start with the definition. So what is an exception? Exception are errors that are detected during execution. That means that even if a statement or expression is syntactically correct, it may cause an error when an attempt is made to execute it. So here are some exceptions that I have listed down. These are not the only ones. However, you may see these exceptions occurring very often, like type error, name error, index error. We will have a look at few of these in upcoming examples. So let's understand what is an error. As we all know that if there is some syntax issue in a particular code, that will be called as an error. Here I have purposely not written colon after if in the if statement. So if I run this code, I should get an error stating that expected colon. And then what is an exception? When I say that the error occurs at runtime or at the time of execution. So for that I have an example. I have defined one variable marks is equal to some value, take 10,000 here, and a is equal to marks divided by 0. Now let's see how Python handles division by 0. Actually, the Python interpreter doesn't understand how to divide marks by 0. It doesn't know what to do with such kind of situation, and straight away throws an exception called as division by 0 or 0 division error. All right. So what happens is, if this exception is not handled, the program gets terminated, and it causes abrupt termination. So the program will not proceed anywhere, and it will straight away terminate the execution. To handle such cases, we have something mechanism called as exception handling, which we will see with try and except block. Meanwhile, we will have a look at yet another example where exception is raised. Suppose you have a variable x is equal to 5 and y is equal to hello. We all know x will be integer here and y will be a string. And if we try to add x plus y and store it in z, then what will happen is, again it should throw an exception stating that type error. Kindly note, even if the names are type error, zero division error, these are exceptions. Now that's how it's defined in Python. If we are clear about the definition and the examples of the exception, now let's see how to handle these exceptions. So for that, I have yet another example. We have defined a is equal to 1, 2, 3 in a list. Now I try to print the second element of the list at a is at a index position 1, and then I try to print the fourth element. So you, if you look at these two statements carefully, you would probably know that a at the index position 3 is not possible in this case. However, the program is syntactically correct, because at third index position there is no value. If you are aware, index position starts from 0, and in this case, at 0th index position there is 1, at first index position there is 2, at third index position at second index position there is 3, and at third index position there is no value. So this would throw an exception. So this is the statement that will throw an exception, and it should be handled. We have try block wherein we mention the statement that will cause an exception, and in except block we print a statement how to handle an exception. All right, so let's run this example. You would see second element is equal to 2 got printed successfully. However, the fourth element raised an exception, but you could not see this exception because we have handled it successfully using a print statement that an error occurred. Now let's have a look at one more example wherein there are multiple exceptions which are handled. If you look at this example carefully, we have defined a function called as fun. In that function, we have mentioned a condition. If a is less than 4, we have passed a as a parameter, we have defined a as a parameter of that function, and we are saying if a is less than 4, perform this kind of division and store it into b and print the value of b. So let's see if we what happens if we call a function passing value 3. So it will go it will call the function. Inside a function, it will check the condition becomes true, and the value is 3. So the denominator here will become 3 minus 3, that is 0, and will raise 0 division error. When we pass function with argument 5, then 5 is less than 4, the condition itself here becomes false, b will never get printed, and will raise a name error. So that's why we have used two except statements which will handle 0 division error as well as name error. If you run this code, you would see 0 division error occurred and handled. If I comment this, you would see name error occurred and handled. So at a time, it is handling only one error. Let's have a look at what is finally keyword. So finally keyword is used wherever the situation is, no matter what, even if the exception occurs, even then the code or the line of code in finally block will get executed. For example, if you have a code where database connection is compulsory for a particular in a particular application, then that code should be mentioned in the finally block, because it always gets executed irrespective of the occurrence of the exception. Let's move to the next section, asset statement. In the asset statement, it is used to test the conditions that should always be true during the execution of our code. If you look at the below example, then we are asserting that in a function calculate average which has got the numbers variable as a parameter, we are asserting that the length of number should be greater than 0. Okay, the list of numbers in no case should be empty, and then the function returns the sum of the numbers upon the len of numbers, that is it calculates the average. So what we have done, the condition where uh, the exception can be raised for the assert statement is mentioned here. So we are taking a variable avg and we are calculating an average, making the condition to be false. We are passing an empty list, so the length of this list definitely would not be greater than 0, and what will happen is this will lead to an assertion error which will be handled. All right, so let's see if we run this program, what is the result. Yeah, so we could see assertion error got handled, list of number should not be empty, that is what mentioned. So this list of number should not be empty came in from assert statement. So that's how the assertion error exception is raised. Thanks for watching this video. I hope I was able to clear the basic concepts of exception. See you in the next video. Thank you.